Good evening, everyone. So, where were we with all that? Well, we were talking yesterday about managing expectations and things like that while working on the 3D printer, and I did some of that today as well. So, before we start kicking off on a new subject, let's look at the 3D printer. I have another test cube in there right now, but I'll show you the one I managed to do today. So, if we look down here, so as you remember, we started with this red cube here. That was our number one. Then my second cube that I managed to print was this one here. We can see how terrible it went. But you know what? That's all good. Because we started improving from there. And yesterday we did this one here. Where we can see there's still some defects and stuff like that. But it's a much better cube than the last one before. So we keep improving like this, and today I managed to do this. So if we look compared to the original cube, we can see that there's a slight difference in it. So the red one, slightly smaller. Oops. And my bottom of the new one, I'm struggling with. So that means I have adhesion issues. But before correcting those, I decided to go ahead and print a new one with the proper sizes. Now we're going to see by the end of the stream how this one is going to look. So if you want to see what I've done with it, if we go back into the code of the page itself, you'll see here I have changed the steps. Where did I put those? Let's find them again. Steps right here. So now they're at 216 steps per millimeter for both the X and the Y. And the Z is at 987.5, and the extruder itself is at 298.7. We'll see after this one here is done where we're supposed to go from there. And now I do know that we have some adhesion issues that you can see from here. You might see it better from this camera here. This is what goes underneath. This is the first portion of the print, and we can see at the corner there that we still have issues with that. But you know, we got to start somewhere. And that brings us to our subject of the day. Our subject that I wanted to talk about is how I managed our daily expectations. About, not daily expectations, rather, let me correct that. Let me rephrase that. Where, you know, there's good and bad of them, or happy and sad. There's always this wave, right? So if we're at the neutral level, going up and down and up and down, where should we be at all times? Is there a proper answer to that one? Should we stay in the middle? Should we go stay up, go down, be sad all the time, be happy all the time? Well, my view on that is that we should be moving all the time like this. It's not a constant middle ground. Because if we stay in the middle ground, that means that we put a shield up. We put a shield up so that we protect ourselves from the negative things. So if we protect ourselves from feeling sad, unhappy, disappointed, and things like that, we're just going to stay neutral. Because from there, where do you find the happiness? Can you really find happiness if you don't have a definition of what's bad compared to what's good if you're always at the neutral? I don't think so. That's my point of view anyways. I may not be right on that, and I'd love to hear about somebody else's experience with that. If anybody wants to chime in, don't be afraid. Please jump in and talk with me. I'll be working on the printer throughout the night, saying my points of views, and I do want people to join me. It's I'll say it all the time. It's important that we talk about these sorts of subjects, especially for people that have closed off. And men, a lot of times, have closed themselves off early in their age. So we teach boys to, you know, feelings are not natural. And we do the same with women, actually, if you think about it, but just the different feelings. And I think we need to open those up a bit more and talk about emotions and feelings and everything that is part of being alive. What are your thoughts on that? I'm just looking at here at the
the camera there, trying to set everything up so that it works properly, and I want to make sure I don't miss any messages. If somebody has something to say to me, it's important that they talk and that they manage to get their point around, get their point across. Sorry. Yeah, my first language may not be English, but it's sure as hell not French either. I don't feel like I have a first language. For me, I will make mistakes in every language that I'll speak. And that's fine. I don't care. You can laugh at me if you want. That's not what's going to stop me from talking. But if somebody makes a mistake here on the chat, do not start insulting them. Okay, people may not have the same first language or the same knowledge on languages, no matter which one it is, and that's something I can't tolerate. We're here to try and understand each other, and if we start making fun of each other because somebody has a different view on something or talks differently or anything like that, it will break up the whole thing. So while we wait for more people to jump in and start talking with us, I want to show you guys something. My son made a drawing today, and I'm actually quite proud of that drawing. So I put it up on the board behind me there. Let me just go check that out as soon as I can. For some reason, I cannot log in. There you go. Now I just managed to start my chat. About time, eh? I should be live. It says it's a video. I don't understand what's going on. Streaming is still new to me, so I will make mistakes and hoping that I'll be able to correct things as I go along. Let me see. I'll end up fighting it. Channel. That's where we're at, right? And there, finally found it. Sorry about that, everyone. I should have paid more attention to it prior to it started. I was trying to get the adhesion on the bed done, and then I started running all over the place. That was bad planning on my part. But back to the drawing. So my son and I have been playing No Man's Sky recently, and he came back from school and he gave me this drawing here. I'll try to show it to you. So for anybody that's been playing No Man's Sky, like, this is really cool. I really, really like seeing this. So I told him I was going to hang it up and let it be displayed for everybody here. And hopefully you guys like it as well. Alright, so back to what I was saying about happiness, sadness, or good, bad, and applying logic to all of that. So I was reading about that today, where logic should be placed prior to any of those feelings that you might get in your life. Now, I don't know how that would work exactly, so once again, I'll open up the chat rooms to everybody. Just give me what you have as an idea for that. How do you place logic before an emotion? I understand the concept of applying logic to emotions, but apparently we should try to achieve that logic before we feel those emotions. For anybody that watches Star Trek, that sounds a lot like a Vulcan to me, where you always think about all possible outcomes before anything happens, which does make some sense, but does it actually work? So let me put this in perspective. This drawing here, right? I'm proud of my son. It's an amazing drawing. It just goes to show that maybe he likes that we spend time playing that game together. Or he likes drawing, which we can kind of see that he does. He's a good artist. But if I go logically, he made that drawing while in school. Should I punish him for that? Or should I just be happy that he gave me a drawing? I decided to go with I'm happy he gave me a drawing. I'm proud of his drawing. I'm going to hang it up. I'm going to show it off. But if you think about it in the logical sense, and that's why I wanted to talk about this, I should be mad at him for not paying attention in school maybe? Or I don't have the whole story. When did he draw it? Right? At one point today, he got confused, got on the wrong bus, and
well, we have to go pick him up from school. Happens. So I can go and start putting logic in there again, and maybe that drawing during that hour and a half that we couldn't get there because we just weren't close enough. We pay for the bus so that he gets home safe, and by the time we would have gotten here, somebody would have been home, but he's old enough anyways to be alone. Um, so when did he do that drawing? Well, I don't know. I didn't think about asking that question to him. Should I have? I don't think so. For me personally, I think that would have broken the happiness that he had showing it to me, and he was happy to see that. My first thing was, can I hang it up and show it to everybody? And he was like, well, yeah. So having that little encouragement from his father to me was more beneficial than starting asking questions about, well, you should be doing schoolwork when you're at school and things like that. Does anybody disagree with me on that? Like, I'd like to get a lot more point of views here. I'm trying to get my mind in a better mindset so that I can control my emotions better. Not because I want to suppress them, but I just don't want to feel them as extreme as I used to feel them for no reason. So maybe applying the logical aspect of things, I'm not thinking of it the right way, and maybe that could help me control my emotions. Because a few days ago I talked about how I struggle with anger. I get angry extremely easily. Sometimes I'm just overwhelmed by emotions, and it is annoying because me trying to comprehend what's going on in my own head, and then there's sounds left and right, and that, and then the dog starts jumping on me. I thought she was here, she's not here. And then my wife asked me a question, and then I need to think about work I have to do, and then I'm thinking about this and that, and just everything, and I just get so frustrated and mad. And it's not just a little bit mad, I get extremely mad, and I can't control it. So sometimes I burst out in anger. I've never been aggressive physically because I can't control that. But I don't apply the logic in anything because the feelings are too much. So maybe that's a me problem, but anybody else feel like that once in a while, or have some tips or tricks that they'd like to share? I'll give you a few minutes to think about it. I'll put it on the camera there, and I apologize. I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. I forgot to grab myself something to drink. I'm back now. All right, going back to where we were. Applying logic to our emotions. How can I achieve that? Well, according to what I've read, is if you think, not if you think, when you feel an emotion of some sort, try to identify that emotion properly. So somebody showed me this drawing at one point where, and actually I think I'm going to use my board for that. Let's hope that you can see it. I'll bring it in a bit closer. Has anybody heard about the iceberg of emotions? I'll draw it here for you. Okay, I have a few things in writing there. That's just for calculation. But an iceberg. Let's pretend this is an iceberg. Okay. My drawing skills are not equivalent to my son's. So, top of the iceberg, underneath the iceberg. You can't see everything that's underneath, right? So let's say anger. That's right at the top, right? Can you see that anger? Yeah, my writing is not the best either, so we'll have to deal with it. Well, what's part of anger? Well, it could be I am anxious, right? Could be anxiety. I'll have to bring the board closer, I think. Let me move my little sleeve here so you can see better. I should have written larger. That's on me. I'll write larger for the next one. So, anger could be anxiousness. Could be that, I'm tired. Weirdness. It could be tiredness. It could be fear. Right? Why would somebody be angry when they're afraid? Well, when somebody scares me, my first reaction is to turn around and like ready to fight, right? So there's all these things, but if we go back to what's lower, why am I really angry? We apply that where I get overwhelmed by everything. Well, maybe something else is going on up here that I'm not thinking about. Maybe it's I'm just tired of being under pressure, right? So the pressure of our daily lives just piling up, and when it piles up, bam, anger, right? So now if we apply logic to our emotions, we understand where certain feelings come from. I'll move this back here for you. Well, for me, actually, I need more space to move. So by feeling these emotions that are in us and understanding where they come from, maybe we can control them better. Not to suppress them, because suppressing our emotions, to me, means that we're hiding them. And trying to hide our emotions may not be the right thing to do. So anybody have any point that they'd like to add to that or not? It's always going to be open for talking for everybody, okay? I find that it's extremely important that we talk about these things and stop hiding from our own emotions. Okay? I know that for me, I grew up with, well, I'll stop crying, or I'll give you a reason to cry, or whatever thing my parents said to me so that, I'd calm down. And I'm not blaming my parents for this. This is how we were raised, and I'm not the only one in that situation. Pretty much everybody from my generation was raised the same way. Right? Wait till your dad gets home, and then you come home and, well, slap on the ass because I didn't behave. Everybody in my age group almost got raised like that. So I'm not blaming it on my parents. I'm blaming it on society that taught that this is what we had to do. But now that we're adults ourselves, shouldn't we try to control these emotions? Or understand them at least? That's my point of view anyways. Where if we can understand something at a deeper level, maybe we can learn to control them, not in order to hide them, but to better manage them. So, if I'm sad, maybe I can try to see the logical aspect of sadness itself and try to control it so it doesn't consume all my energy. Right? If I'm happy, maybe not burn myself out in happiness. Not trying to get rid of it. No, because we need those experiences, we need those emotions to grow as people. But understanding them, that means we can control those things better, and that may bring us one step further in our development. Right? And as human beings, we develop every day. I keep hearing people say, like, oh, if you can't handle me at my best, my worst, you can't handle me at my best, or whatever it is. Well, that to me just sounds like, yeah, I'm an adult and I don't want to change, so you change for me or go away. Well, guess what? You're an adult, so you should probably think about changing before telling somebody, get out of my life. because I don't want to change. I'm too lazy to do it. Or maybe I get this wrong. And if I do get it wrong, please let me know. There's a comment box on Twitch where, it's ask a question, but just go put your comments and questions in there. And for YouTube itself, because I'm streaming on both at the same time, just put it in the comments or you in the chat. I'm live right now, so this is the time where we can actually have a conversation. But I will answer questions and comments as much as I can about everything. So if I start getting too many comments and questions, maybe I'll have to get some moderators or something like that. But right now, there's very little people spending time with me, which is perfectly fine. I don't need to have thousands of people to have these discussions. This is to help me and possibly others as well while I do these streams. I find it extremely important, and I want everybody's help. Like trying to apply logic to emotions. And to me, that's a hard thing to do, because I can do it after the fact. But how do you do it when the fact is there? So I talked about managing expectations yesterday. So same thing I did today. Well, you know what? I'm not going to put this whole big text and try to get as many people on tonight. I'm just going to see who's going to join me for the stream and go with the flow. If nobody comes here, I'm perfectly okay with that. If I have 100 people, I have 100 people. Well, I'm perfectly fine with that too. That means I'm going to have more people to talk to. I may get issues trying to follow people, but that's just the way of life. I can't control everything, so I can manage my own expectations about what to expect. I can say, this is the lowest side of things. So for the stream itself, well, I can manage the fact that maybe there's not going to be anybody, or there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of people. I'm not at that point yet, and I know that. I'm not pushing to get thousands of people at the same time, so that's on me. So managing expectations is there. Now, applying logic to that. Well, I'm trying to have a discussion with people, and there's not a whole lot of people right now talking in chat. How can I fix that? Well, maybe I can fix that by actually advertising what I do. Yeah, but that means I'm going to get a lot of people and negative feedback. Well, now I'm starting to overthink things, right? So let's think logically for this one. I want this to grow so that we can help each other and have discussions with people around the world. But am I ready to go to that point yet? Maybe not. I'm just new to streaming. I made a lot of mistakes just in the 20 minutes I've been live. So, applying logic and managing expectations, well, maybe I'm just going to keep going like this for a little while. So, am I happy? Am I sad? Right now, I'm happy because I'm here streaming, and these videos are going to be online. So if somebody falls upon these videos and it helps them, good. Or maybe they go like, well, this is useless to me, but you know what? My friend Deborah is struggling with something. Maybe she should join this guy and have a discussion with him. I'd be glad for something like that, right? So for me, it's just, I'm doing this to help myself. I say things out loud, and instead of just doing it in front of the mirror, now I have the potential of having people watching me and saying what they think about it. And talking about everything that we go through in life is important. We need to share our experiences. And that was something that I noticed in a lot of people and I worked at I'll just restart my story there. I worked in a old person's home. And one of the things that I used to do was, I love talking with the older generation. And one thing that they always say is, find somebody to share your time with. Maybe not using those exact words, but that's what they said. And then I watched the movie Into the Wild, and the guy went into the wild, lived alone, and then died alone. And in his journal, one thing that he wrote was, all the experiences and feelings that you get are not worth anything unless you share them with somebody. So logically, what I should do at that point with all that information that I have is try to share this, which is what I'm doing now. So my feelings and my emotions attached to this is I want to feel happy and have some pride and share some people's feelings. Somebody's going through something hard, I want to be there for them. And it's not about I want to be the hero, it's just I joined the military to help people. Well, helping doesn't need to be just the army or just the police or just being a doctor. I can help a stranger by saying, hey, how is it going? Why isn't that important? To me, it is. And so, keeping the whole subject that I talked about since Monday, is that, I can manage my expectations. I can think logically about these things. Now it's applying all these things when things get harder that needs to happen. So I have work to do on these things. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going through the same thing on a daily basis. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're human beings. We make mistakes. We don't know how to control everything. And we need to improve. And we can't improve if we just try to close it up and, I'm going to go play video games and forget about it. Or, I'm going to drink so that way I don't have to think. Or I'm going to smoke some weed and forget about everything. Well, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with drinking alcohol or taking drugs, whatever. I'm not for doing all those things to forget myself. I don't want to forget anything. And I'm not in nobody's shoes. Maybe I'm wrong with this. But to me, I need to feel those emotions. I need to have these feelings to grow as a person. So, I don't want to rely on just alcohol and drugs to deal with those emotions. I want to understand them and push them further and be able to control them better so that I can be a better person. And this is all these things that I'm talking about and trying to talk with people about is because the stream of mine, where the name of my channel comes from, Dreaming the Life. I'm dreaming the life of being a person that helps people around the world. I'm dreaming the life of being a sailor on my ship, traveling the world, seeing countries, experiencing different cultures, experiencing different feelings and emotions and sights and smells and everything. Right now, what can I do for that? Well, right now I have a job. I can't go sailing around the world as much as I want to. I need to think about this logically. And I need to manage my expectations on this. Right? Does that make sense? It does to me anyways. And at any time somebody else has a different comment about this, let me know. I want to hear your point of views. But yes, traveling the world to me is a big thing that I want to do. And I keep seeing people doing it all over the world. And I'm traveling this, I'm traveling that. But right now, if I do it, we're going to suffer. So I can't go that route. Well, let's share experiences together here. Let's talk about things. Let's talk about the good things that happen. Let's talk about that. You winning that whatever soccer tournament. You winning that chess trophy. You struggling with whatever deficiency you have. All these things that can be shared with people, we should share them. And it's not about, we should keep things private. Yes, certain things should stay private, because not everybody's in the world is nice. But when something good happens, or when something bad happens, don't we want to share with somebody? I know I do. I have friends, I have family, but I want more. I know it sounds greedy for me to say I want more, but I do. I do want to talk to more people. I do want to experience more everything. So, now I need to apply logic to how I can do that. And here we are now. We are streaming. We're talking about these things. We're talking about these
feelings and emotions and struggles and good times and everything like that, so that we can start all experiencing that. I see this huge divide in people, but there's no logic in it. There's no good, there's no bad, because everybody thinks they're good, but there's just no logic in the divide that we have. Oh, well, the left thinks like this, the right thinks like that, and no, if we do it this way, we're going to lose everything. If we do it that way, we're going to all die, whatever. Like, people go to these huge extremes, and right now we're like, I don't know, let's go for something as simple as, oh, well, I don't want to use those pronouns because I don't like them. If we use them, everybody's going to just get confused, and it's going to be terrible. Okay, but can I get more examples of that and why you're feeling that way? I need to understand these things. Maybe you're right, and I don't understand it correctly, but maybe it's the other way around, and you're wrong, and you don't understand something correctly. And if we don't talk about these things, we can't evolve, we can't be better. And now people are jumping in, and not right now, but what I keep reading is people jump a lot towards religion and spirituality. Well, I haven't seen any religion that actually actively says kill everything. I know some people are going to say, well, there's one religion that says that. I haven't seen it personally. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm wrong. But I haven't seen it. And if somebody wants to share a passage or something, please let me know. I need to know these things, because if I'm going to travel the world, I should understand the world. And I know different parts of the world have different views on many different things. And I don't want to be on the good side, the bad side, because those sides depend on where you land first. If I look at just the political parties we have here in Canada or the United States, left and right, one of them is just against everything that the right says, and the right is completely against what the left says, but I'm pretty sure there's a middle ground somewhere. And without applying those things that I keep trying to talk about, whether it's understanding your emotions, understanding your feelings, understanding the other people, the others around you, how can we reach that common goal of just being human? Does that make any sense to anybody, or no sense at all, and I just lost everybody? That could be a thing as well. I know I can ramble on and just miss the whole point that I'm trying to say. And if that is the case, don't be afraid to let me know. These videos they're going to be online for a while, and you can go revisit them. And if there's something that's said at one point that's just got you completely lost, or that you feel that, maybe I shouldn't have said that because, it sounded kind of wrong, well, I need to know these things as well. So leave me a comment, send me an email, whatever, so that we can fully develop who we are as human beings. And I know my streams aren't perfect. I know I still have work to do on those, but I'm willing to change what I do so that I get more people and talk to more people and understand the world better. Alright, so I'm going to take a little break of talking here, and we're going to look at the cube that just, to me, completely failed, to be honest with you. So, I went on the wrong screen, apologies for that. So, as you look there, to me that looks terrible. It feels like that cube just was not printed properly, and I don't know where the issue is. Maybe it's because of the last changes that I've done to it. But once it's done, it should be done shortly here within the next few minutes. We'll look at it and try to diagnose what's wrong with it, if that makes sense to anybody. Hopefully it does. So I'm looking at it now from a closer angle, and from what I can see, it looks like over-extrusion. So the over-extrusion means that there's too much material coming out. If somebody has another idea, let me know, because I don't know everything about 3D printing. I'll look for information online, and that's what I did to calibrate the motors on this thing. But from what I see, the cube might be the right size, but the material coming out doesn't look good.
something else is wrong. So it's going to be another fun thing to try and fix. And that brings us to how, if we apply ourselves to what we do, we may not be successful the first time. Right? We might make mistakes, and that's perfectly normal and acceptable. There's nothing wrong with that. Making mistakes is a human trait. So, like my printer, let's pretend my printer's a human right now. That's making a big mistake. It's not printing properly. Well, what can we do for that? I could get mad at it, turn it off, and say, no, screw it, you know what, I'm done. Or, I could look at the issue, think about it, be logical about it, and yeah, this goes back to where we talked about, that neutral line. Right now it's going down. I'm not so happy with it, because if I look at my previous cube that we have right here, wrong screen, I need to get used to that. So, this cube actually looked really good. There was a slight mistake at the bottom of adhesion issue, which, I can tolerate. I can fix that. The cube, the quality looks really good. There was a slight issue with the size of it, which I could fix, and I thought I did. Now we look back at this cube. Oh, yeah, no, there's maybe a bit more mistakes in that. Am I going to get mad at myself? No. Am I disappointed? Yes. Is disappointment a bad thing? No. Because if we're disappointed in some of the things we do, that means we're trying to be better. And by trying to be better, we can accomplish way more things than if we just quit every time we have a struggle in our lives. Right? Does that make sense to everyone? Oh yeah, I'll move the camera there and show you the other side of the cube. You'll see why I'm not happy. You can kind of see at the top right corner. Let me put the camera in front. It's going to be wiggly here. I know the quality is not the best, but you can see that the cube does not look right. It's almost done now. There's maybe 2-3 minutes left. It's going through the final stages of applying the 3-4 layers that go on top. But we'll get there. And it wasn't about rushing to get it done as quick as possible because I have stuff to do with it. And because if we look at these things that I have to do, I still need to print like 3 or 4 of those. And without a printer that's well calibrated, the sizes won't be correct, and that means I'll have 15 to print because if the sizes aren't correct, I have to restart. And now it's losing time and money, and so getting frustrated and quitting something just because right now I don't feel like it, it's pissing me off, well, it's not going to help me because I still need to fix it. If I want it to work properly, I need to get it working. How do I do that? By taking the time. So it goes back to everything that I've been saying from the start. Deep breaths. Just all right. This is not going the way I want. Well, what can I do? I can let it finish its thing, then take a proper look at it, take the measurements if I need to, and if I can't fix it on my own, there's a lot of people on the internet, and maybe even the chat rooms right now that can help. It's not an issue. Asking for help is not a bad thing, whether it's for a 3D printer, or your emotions, or your mental health. Don't ever forget to take care of yourself, and don't ever be afraid of asking for help. There is no shame in that at all. Right? Whether it's the first time you ask for it, or the 100th, or the 1000th, ask for help when you need it. Right? It's always about, for me anyways, I know that it's always about me trying to help everybody. I want to be there for everyone. And asking for help is something that I struggle with a lot. And even my sister talked to me about that the other day, saying that accepting gifts and help is something that I struggle with. And yes, it's true. Why? I don't know. I don't want to be a disappointment or whatever, and I need to work on these things.
And so I'm bringing this to the chat rooms. I'm bringing this online, both on Twitch and YouTube, and maybe soon on Facebook as well. I don't know where all this will lead me, but I need to improve on me. Not just, I'm a terrible person, I need to be better. No, I think I'm a good person. I like to think I'm a good person anyways. I like to think that I have my life under control, even though nothing has went according to plan. But you know what? Planning too far ahead with, oh, this is going to be perfect, we're going to do this and that later, and I'm going to travel the world, and everything's going to be nice and fun. And well, there are some struggles in life that I didn't anticipate. And I struggled with that. I struggled a lot. And they say that, depression is one of those things where it affects your brain. And not they say, like, everybody knows that's what depression is, right? Maybe not everybody, but it affects your capacity to retain information. Your memories are altered or just not present at all. And I do realize that I'm missing a few years of my life because I forgot certain things. But I never went looking for help. I was just trying to keep going. And in 2020, when COVID hit, about 6 months after, I just couldn't anymore. I was at the end of the rope. And I went to see my boss, or not my boss, but my direct supervisor. And I told her, yeah, I need help. Like, something's wrong. And they put me on leave. I was on a mental health break for close to a year until I said, okay, I need to go back to work now. And then they put me on one of the hardest courses to work with. Not that the course was bad or anything. The course went decently well, but it just takes a lot of time and energy. I'm sorry, I got a hair in my eye right now. Alright, sorry about that. But, yeah, so that course takes a lot of time and energy. Well, I just came back from mental health break. Is this the right thing? Well, you know what? I'm not afraid to ask for help. If there's anything, I'll just say, you know what, I gotta stop for a minute. And I managed to make it through everything. Was I tired? Oh, you bet yourself. Try not to swear here anymore. But you bet that it was hard and tiresome. I finished the whole thing, and I crashed. But then I went on leave, and I'm still on that leave now. And when work returns, how will it be? I got no clue. Maybe I'll get caught for having done something bad. Not caught, but somebody will find something that I didn't do properly. Because I'm still a human being. I make mistakes. So if that's what happens, so be it. I'll deal with it then. I can't try to go in the future and see what's going to happen. Or maybe somebody's just going to come up and tell me, hey, you know that course was extremely hard this year. Good job. You did well. Or maybe nobody's going to say anything. Too bad. Right? It's not about getting recognition. It's just about knowing that I've done a good enough job so that I brought something good somewhere. And was it perfect? No. Could I have done something better? Yeah, there's a good chance. But did I do the best that I could at the time? For sure. And that is something that I do know. And of course, having recognition is good. I'd like to get recognition for what I do. And I'd like to get it from my superiors. But you know what? When I have some of my candidates come back to me a bit later and say, hey, that was an amazing course. Like, we learned a lot. We had a good time. Or, hey, could you maybe help me get a job or something like that by just being a person that this job that I'm applying for will contact a reference, right? To me, those are good things. Those are amazing things because somebody trusts me enough to put me as a reference. Or having that one person come up to me and say, hey, something's not right. I need help. To me, that is the biggest compliment I've ever received, and it happened before.
and I want that to be able to continue. And that's one of the reasons why these streams are important to me, so that I can learn from everybody on the streams and in the world, all over the internet and the globe itself, right? Because people go through different things differently. Not everybody thinks the same. Everybody has different backgrounds. We're raised differently. And there may be some similarities, but everybody's different. So having the knowledge that, everybody should get by talking to each other is what's going to help me be a better person, be a better boss, be a better father, be a better husband, be a better son, right? I need these things to develop myself. With COVID, we all felt it, where we were locked up for almost 2 years. And, you can't do this because, you might spread it, or you can't go there because what if they have COVID, and that I'm immunocompromised myself. So, of course, I didn't want to go try and catch something that I don't know anything about. So, I stayed confined as much as I could. And now this is me reaching out to people. So, now that my little rant is over, let's look at the cube. So I'll just take it off there and switch the camera so I can show it from underneath. So, whoa, that did not go well. Right? Yep, nope, there is an issue. Right, if we look at it, this is what I did earlier. This is what I just finished printing here. So we can see there is an issue with it. Even the surface is rugged compared to this. I don't know if you can see it properly. Well, that means we still have some work to do. Now, over extrusion, like I said earlier, is too much material comes out. So with that material there, that means, what if I remove some of the material? But now if I look on top, well, this one's all opened up, as if there wasn't enough material. So, is the issue something else? I don't know. If you figure it out before I do, leave me a comment on that, or let me know in chat. I want to fix this as quick as I can for sure, but I want to know that I'm doing the right way. Let's put these on the X's again, so that we have our references. Right? So I've been streaming now for 4 days. That's what it means. I'm counting all the days with, it might be too hot. Maybe that's exactly what it is, actually. I didn't even think of that. But that could be a thing. I did set the temperature a bit higher this time around by about 5 degrees. So if 5 degrees does this, you can, I'll just go there and you'll see the extra melted material. Oh, no, it doesn't want to focus. I don't know how to do that focus thing. Does that work? No. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know how to focus cameras. But yeah, maybe it is too much heat that's on it. Well, I'm not going to worry about it right now. What I'm going to do is look into it a bit more. I noticed that my sizes are a little bit off, I think. Let's measure them for fun. Like, we're here now, we should have the right sizes then. So this should be, oh, I need the right camera. This should be at 20. So we can see 24.86. So we're 4.86 millimeters too big. So that's for the Z. Now for the Y. And when I say just letters like that, those are the axes, right? So the left, right, up, down, and forward, backwards. So 21.82. So this one's a lot closer. I have 1.82 millimeters too big. Not as good as I want it, but it'll have to do for now. And then on the y-axis, and I know this because this is why there's letters on there. But if I look at the y is 22.332. So cube's still a little bit too big. No issue. We'll make the calculations. We'll fix it, and then tomorrow's another day. I could do it tonight because it takes about an hour to print. But I don't feel like doing that without you guys. Like, I'll do a little bit of them once in a while to try and get the adjustments right. And then, like I said, at one point, if I get enough support on these streams, I'll be able to start printing things for fun for you guys. I have no issues that, if I get enough support, print something that you want. And if ever we get to that point, there's this website here called Thingiverse, and I'll show it to you guys real quick here. So this website here, they have all sorts of files that you can print off for a lot of different things. And let's just look at what's been popular in the last 7 days just for fun, right? So this guy here, he made himself a flamethrower. I'm not printing that for anybody, just a heads up. Risson pen cartridge crossbow. Well, that'd be willing to print. Having a little pen cartridge crossbow sounds fun. So, help me get more support for this, and I'll print you something like that if you want one. And see, this one comes with either you can use the pens or I could print a few bolts for it. Necklaces, a guide to tape corners for painting, warnings for this, whatever. As you can see, there's a lot. Like, there's Loki horns for your cat if you want to. I'll print these things for you guys. I have no issues with that. All I need, though, is some support, and all the support that I want is actual conversations with people. So share this with people. Tell your mom, your dad, your best friend, the person that hates you the most. I don't care. We need to talk to everybody, right? And I don't tolerate negative ways of treating each other. Right? If somebody starts insulting somebody because they think differently, that's not the way we move forward. So that won't happen on this channel. And if it does, we'll just kick those people out. We don't need people that are not willing to change their way of thinking, or at least take the time to listen. They might not change their minds on certain subjects. And, well, that's the world we live in. But we do need to take the time to understand the other point of views around us. So I'm gonna cut this stream there shortly. If you want the Loki horns for Roxy, yes, that would be pretty cool for the dog there. As soon as I get this sorted, I'll probably print a set of those now that I saw them myself. Plus, I got the perfect filament that's golden color and everything, so that would be amazing. But as I do for every stream, is I want to take a few minutes here at the end to relax, okay? To drop our shoulders, drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth, relax your eyebrows, relax your jaw, and just breathe and take it easy, right? And you're safe right now. It's just for now. We're just going to relax. Then I want you to think about your day and think about something that you were grateful for today. It could be anything. It could be that, hey, you know what? I found some snacks in the cupboard that I forgot that I had. I'm grateful I had it tonight. Or, you know what? Today was a hard day, but I'm home. I'm safe. I'm fed. I'm comfortable. I'm grateful for that. Be grateful for one thing in your day. Or you can just look around you and find something you're grateful for right now. Right, and on that, have a very good night, everybody, and I'll be back tomorrow from 9 to 10, so don't be afraid to share this link either on Twitch or YouTube with
friends, family, anybody, colleagues, right? Let's get more people on this to join the conversation. Have a good night, everybody.